Today I want to show you guys a really cool lick I discovered in D. I know for guitar players, especially bluegrass players, we kind of get locked into two schools of thought. It's either the G school or the C school, the more Tony Rice school. But a lot of bluegrass players, and I won't say all of them do, but a good portion of them avoid the D position. And I think part of it is due to the fact that when you fret D as a cowboy chord, a classical chord, it's a little hard to get, even for seasoned players. Like, I know I've been playing guitar for 40 years, and I still have problems with D a little bit, you know, kind of like I do with F, though there are ways around F. But D, if you want to get a full D, it's kind of hard because you have to go in and, you know, when you're, especially if you're down here in like G, and then you have to pull up and then switch fingers completely and do it in between the measures. And, you know, anybody's played guitar knows, you know, there's always those chords that give you a problem. For me, it's D. So I sat down and said, well, let's figure out some licks in D, and let's try to get some more vocabulary in that position, you know, because that would be really handy. There's some really cool licks in D, in the D position, you know, as it pertains to the open frets. One thing I noticed is that A minor and D kind of go hand in hand. You know, just like A minor and C go hand in hand, A minor and D go hand in hand. So if you play a So if you run down the D Mixolydian scale, you're playing basically A minor. So they work really well together in bluegrass because a lot of bluegrass is Mixolydian based, you know, or major based. But Mixolydian bass is where bluegrass leans, you know, because of the flat seventh. Anyway, I digress. But I started taking those licks from the A minor position and kind of throwing them onto the D. So I'm going to play this real slow, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Oh, I messed up. Give me 1 second. So what we're doing here, we're basically going from the D into the D7, which is what that is right there, which suggests Mixolydian because of the flat seven, which also is part of that A minor chord. So if we just think in chord shapes, so elements of both that A minor and that funky Mixolydian stuff down here with the D. So if you mix all that together, if you think in terms of, are these scales similar and they contain the same notes, you know, you can bounce between those scales and then come up with licks on the fly just by tracing those scales and letting your ear guide you. You know, so let's improvise something real quick. For example, let's just get a D one. Now, since we know that the A minor will work, if we come up on the 5th position in the E shape, like up here, that's A minor as well. So if we go like this, if we go up there and pick something random, and then also that when you play the A minor there, that bar G in the A shape is there too. So if you go, and if you get lost, you've got you know where the D is. So you can wander, and your tonal center is right there under your fingers. And you could even jump back down here. You know, it's not that you know, I wasn't striving for complete accuracy there. It's improvisation to try to discover new musical phrases within that chordal framework. Anyway, I hope that helps somebody today. These are things I've been kind of dwelling upon. I got a lot of free time on my hands, so I've been really diving into the philosophy of what makes music sound good and how you can improvise in a way that lets your creativity come out by both using your ear and a shitload of practice. All right, if you guys want me to talk about anything else or you have any questions, feel free to just send them my way. I'm going to try to start doing these series because I feel like I've got a good grasp on the subject. Anyway, thank you.